Hey everyone, Connie here with my review for Marvel's Eternals. Got back from the theater a bit ago, had to do a few things before I could record this. And I'm going to try to make this quick because I don't have a lot of time tonight, and especially the time I'm recording this. Sorry for the lighting, it's dark out. It's 6:30 pretty much. Um, and here at this time of year, that means dark. Lights are on, but they don't help much. So, Eternals is a movie um, that I was curious about because I had never heard of the Eternals before. I had never even, again, heard of them. It's not that I just didn't know them, I never heard of them before. So when I heard that the MCU was doing a movie for them, it's like, who? It's like with Shang-Chi. I didn't know the property. So I went into this not knowing that anything except having seen one trailer. And the trailer and the cast are what got me interested. Um, the trailer definitely looked interesting and didn't give away too much. Or at least either that or I didn't remember most things because I definitely was surprised with this film. But the one casting choice that really excited me for this film going in was Ma Dong-soo. I probably butchered that and I apologize. But he was in Train to Busan. He was the tough guy, father to be, who is pretty much everyone's favorite character in Train to Busan. He goes by the American pseudonym Don Lee in credits for this film. But I know him more by his real name because of Train to Busan. um, he was definitely the one that got me very interested in this film. There are other good name like big name actors and actresses in this, such as Angelina Jolie, but I've never been a fan of Angelina Jolie. Salma Hayek is a bigger sell to me, but even so, it was definitely him that got me interested in this because of my love for Train to Busan being one of my favorite horror movies of all time and definitely my favorite zombie movie. So I went into this, again, knowing almost nothing about this movie, having only seen one trailer, and my hype built around basically a single actor. I came out of the film today, honestly, just to put it simply, a fan. I go into a lot of these Marvel films, a lot of them knowing the characters. Like, I know Iron Man, I know Captain America, I know Spider-Man. But then there's some that I just don't know the properties of beforehand, so all my knowledge of them and all of my investment in them has to be in these MCU films. Shang-Chi impressed me very much so and made me love the characters and the story. And Eternals did the same. I don't know if I would say which one is better or which one I like more, at least. It's really hard to say at the moment. But I will say that I very much love both. Kind of for different reasons, though. Even though they both have a few similar themes, for different reasons. Now, I'm not going to go too much into spoilers here. I'm going to keep this review pretty spoiler-free. But I will say, for me, the hype was lived up to because Gilgamesh, Ma Dong-soo's character, definitely the heart of the film for me. I loved every character. No joke, every single one of the Eternals were fantastic, and even some other characters who weren't part of the Eternals. I won't go into detail, but there's a character in this movie called Karun, who is just an absolute treasure. absolute treasure. Um, and this movie is basically about a few main themes: family, love, and humanity. And I think it pulled off all of them extremely well. And I think it's due to the characters, the writing behind them, and the acting of all of the stars. They did something that, honestly, this might be a very unpopular opinion, but they did something that most Marvel movies, most MCU movies, I should say, have not done for me. And that is make me, like, truly care for the characters. And that might be an unpopular opinion, but with the rest of the MCU, I can count on one hand the amount of characters that I, like, truly, genuinely care about. There are many characters that I like, even characters that I love, but very few that I truly care about. And this movie made me care about almost every character, at least almost every major character. There's a couple exceptions, but for the most part, I cared about them all. And there were multiple points in this movie where I cried because of just what they were going through. And there's parts that I laughed at, parts where I got really, really fucking tense at. Like there was a part where I was gripping my leg really hard, and I might have left a mark on it. I don't know if it's still there. It doesn't hurt or anything, but like I was really like at the edge of my seat, just because I cared. Because this movie, with its themes being so heavy about love, family, and humanity, it has to make sure that those themes are reflected in its characters. It has to make us empathize with them and, well, care about them in order to get those messages and themes across properly. Even if you don't necessarily agree with certain actions that certain characters might take, you can very much see their point of view every single time. And it's impressive. And again, every actor did a fantastic job. Even Angelina Jolie. Honestly, like I said, I'm not the biggest Angelina Jolie fan. I don't think she's as great as a lot of people say. This was easily the best role I've ever seen her in. Ever. She sold this role as if her life depended on it. Like, I without question cared greatly about her in this. And I'm impressed by that. And a lot of these actors I don't know. There's a lot of actors in this that I just don't know. But at the same time, I want to know them now. I want to see other stuff with them in it. So the general synopsis of the film, without giving away too much, is that the Eternals are a group of superpowered aliens who are immortal. And they've been on Earth for 7,000 years, protecting the citizens from these other creatures, but never interfering otherwise. And basically the movie goes over what all of that entails. And I think, again, it sells it really exceptionally well. I also feel that the writing and pacing is really tight. Like, this was like, what, a 2.5 hour movie or something like that? And it went by really quick because I was just invested in everything. I felt like everything just worked right. Nothing felt too slow or too fast or anything like that. It all felt right in how it was handled. The action was great. There was some effects that could have been done a little better, I admit, but that's never a huge issue for me. Um, I never really hold effects not being like the best possible as a issue unless the effects are actually so absolutely shitty that it's distracting. And that's almost never the case. It's rare that the effects are that shitty. um so I usually don't hold that as an issue. So even though some of the effects were like, "Oh yeah, that's obviously CG." It's like it's noticeable. It wasn't bad enough to where it distracted me from the movie or hurt the overall quality of things for me. Um, this movie also has some very progressive stuff in it. Again, I won't go into detail on that, especially because I want people to witness that and everything like more naturally as they watch the film. But there's some really good progressive stuff with certain characters in this that I adored, and two of my favorite characters in this are two of the biggest examples of that. I'll leave it at that. Um, and there were some big surprises too, like some big things that really I did not see coming. Like even as I was watching, even like quite a bit into this film, it's like there's still things that's like, okay, I could kind of see where this is going, but then something just happens and it's like, oh wait, what? Huh? And again, there was a lot of tense moments that kept me on the edge of my seat that were really not bothering to me, but hard to watch in a good way. You know what I mean? I like being tense when I care so much about what's happening and the characters. Um, and the climax of the film was fantastic because it all felt properly built up to and properly earned. Everything felt like it worked and everything was perfectly set leading up to it. And then there was the two credit scenes, which we did not, my friend and I, because I went with my friend Kathy, we actually left before the second credit scene because we weren't sure if there was one and she had to use the restroom and everything. I had looked it up and everything, so I know about the second one as well. Um, let's just say there's a lot of big setup happening. A lot. And I'm very excited to see where it leads. Um, and the second credit scene, especially, is one I'm pretty excited for. Um, because I'm a fan of what has been done with that before. If you know, you know. Um, but seriously, I really love this movie. I know it's gotten a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people have said it was disappointing and all. But I think that this direction that the MCU is currently going in with stuff like Shang-Chi and Eternals is absolutely fantastic. I think it works on pretty much every level. And I can't wait to see where it goes with future projects, such as the Miss Marvel Disney Plus show, as well as future movies and whatnot that are to come in the next few years and stuff. Um, so obviously, the next MCU film coming out is Spider-Man, which comes out next month. I probably will end up seeing that with my family because we've seen the other Spider-Man films. So I'll probably end up seeing that with them. I'll have to talk to them, ask them about it probably tomorrow at Thanksgiving. Um, but that is definitely something I really want to see because Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel hero and everything. So I'm excited to see that as well. Obviously, I'll do a review for that. But yeah, so just basic overall thoughts. I love this film. I thought it was great. I think everything about it was handled pretty perfectly with maybe a little few hiccups with the uh, effects here and there, but that's, again, not an issue, really. Honestly, I want more like this. Like I said, it made me care about the characters in a way that no other Marvel movie has really accomplished to this degree. The closest would be the Spider-Man films. Um, I came out of that theater wanting to see more of these characters than almost anything else in the MCU. So, tell me in the comments below, if you have seen Eternals, what did you think of it? And what did you think of what it set up? For now, though, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.